Hello everyone, and welcome to my tier ranking of the multiplayer maps from Gears of War, the original Gears of War, going back to 2006. This is going to be an interesting one for me, folks, because it's not like I've played this game anytime recently. I have not played Gears of War multiplayer for about 15 years, yet here I am sitting here today ranking the multiplayer maps. You might say, well, that disqualifies you from being able to do this task. Well, let me just let you know that I put about 2 solid years of my life into this game. I'm talking playing from sundown to sunup. I would probably start playing this game at about 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and I would not stop playing it until 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I did that for about 2 years. So you talk about burning something in your brain. I still remember these maps. I still remember how they made me feel. What was really cool about this game is that the people I played online multiplayer with regularly were people that I just naturally stumbled upon playing Xbox Online. They weren't friends that I already had in life that I knew from school or anything. They were just people that I found online, and we really connected. And we would get together night after night after night online and play this game to death. So I thought this would be an interesting task to take on, to tier rank these levels, but I haven't played the game in 15 years. I'm just going off of the thoughts and feelings that I remember from all those years ago. I want to make this a very chill video. I'm not going to have gameplay because I'm not going to get an Xbox 360 again and play all these multiplayer maps again just for the sake of making this tier video. I thought it'd be more interesting if I just go off of my memory of playing this game in order to do this tier ranking. To me, that's a much more interesting task because it showcases the lasting ability of some of these experiences more so than if I just refreshed myself. All right, so let's get started with Bullet Marsh. Now, this came from Map Pack 2. Remember when they released 4 of those maps all at once? There was Bullet Marsh, Garden, Process, and Subway. All 4 of those came out in Map Pack 2 at some point in 2007. I think the game had been out for 6 months to a year. I'm not really sure. But we were all over that like stink on shit when those maps came out. And Bullet Marsh was the least favorite of the 4. I think everybody was in consensus on that. I'm going to put it in D for now. I don't want to hate on this level too much. I feel like a lot of people would throw this down into F. If you send an Xbox message to all your friends like, hey, we're doing Bullet Marsh, you'd probably get a response back like, fuck you, I'm not joining that. Because people just hated this one. And I think we were just kind of very turned off by it because it tried to implement some things that a lot of the other levels didn't have, like pitch black darkness and the krill that would attack you if you stepped out of the light. Nice idea, but in practice, it wasn't an implementation that I think anybody really liked. This one, the layout of this map is very much like a figure 8, where the elevated level, everyone's battling it out to get the boom shot in a very claustrophobic space. But then you have a person on each team that stays far back and tries to punch in and get some sniper kills. And this level is knocking on the door to get into C tier. And I do sort of give this level a little bit of a pat on the back. Like, you know, it's okay. You're really not that terrible. There's maps that are absolutely F tier. And Bullet Marsh, in no way, shape, or form did it cross my mind for a moment to put Bullet Marsh in F tier. It's totally not an F tier, but I do think it is below average. All right, Canals. Now, this is one that I know a lot of you would shove into S tier within a nanosecond. I'm not going to be one of those people. That is my own fault for sucking so bad with sniper rifles. Canals is probably the most elongated map. This is a sniper rifles. This is a sniper rifle heaven, and it is a good map. However, it is not one of my preferred maps, and this is a subjective list. So a map like Canals for me is going to go in C tier. I am not going to argue with anybody that has this in S or A tier. This is a good map for you guys that love your little sniper rifle. Scott, why do I keep saying sniper rifles? Sniper rifle battles. Have at it, guys. I know you love it. That's well and good. But, you know, if I'm hosting a map, it ain't going to be at Canals. If someone else is hosting a Canals game and I get invited, I'll still join it. But I know I'm going to have a very shitty KD ratio on this one because and I'm not going to be any help to your team whatsoever. We are given torque bows here. And bear in mind for the rest of this video that torque bows is my favorite weapon in Gears of War. But before I'm going to kill anybody with a torque bow, I'm going to get a sniper caliber straight through my dome. And that's going to leave me disappointed every single time. So I think I would prefer it if I just got fucking headshotted because at least that would be a jarring spectacle. But I just time after time I'd get shot in my knee with someone that had an active reload sniper shot. And I was just so sick of getting downed here. It's what turned me off to playing this map. And again, that's on me. I suck with the sniper rifle, and that's fine. So different strokes for different folks. I'll just go somewhere else. Clock Tower, baby, this is A. This was usually the second or the third map that we would host whenever we'd have our little multiplayer night. Not little multiplayer night, it went on forever. 2 or 3 maps, and we were already circling back to Clock Tower. So this one's a necessity. I love this fucking level. I love how everything is closely put together. It makes the rounds fast-paced and action-packed. Hardly a dull moment here. If you get killed, you don't have to wait long spectating because everything is closely put together. I also love the art direction in this map. I love that you can see the cityscape in the background. As soon as it starts, the buildings all cracked apart and falling apart, leaning on each other. You have good shotgun battles here, good lancer battles here. A lot of good places to ambush and chainsaw. There's grenades here hidden in that little cubby section. This is just a very well-rounded map. It's knocking on the door to get into S, but, you know, nobody's home. Clock Tower's staying in A. All right. Escalation. This was one that was interesting to try periodically, but not one that we revisited so often. There's a big reason for that. This one is very slanted. Quite literally. You know, one of the good things about Escalation is that if you're the team that started at the bottom of the map and you end up winning, then you really get to rub it in the face of the other team, being that they had the elevated advantage. I mean, they could just probably lancer the shit out of you as you're trying to ascend up the map. And if your team got fucked up and you were up there, well, you know, you should especially feel dumb. Okay, so all that being said, I know Escalation is going to go into D tier for me, but I'm not sure if it should go ahead of Bullet Marsh or behind it. I would say that I would rather play... Fuck. I don't know, man. I sort of like the art direction of Escalation, maybe just a little bit more, but with how disjointed this one is and just how it's so heavily slanted, I mean... Yeah, the slantation corrects itself because the teams switch sides between rounds, so you could be like, well, what are you bitching about? It all balances out. Yeah, sure. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's just not one of my preferred maps to play. I don't think it's a completely shitty map. You know, Bullet Marsh and Escalation, those were maps where the thought was, hey, let's try something different. We knew they weren't total shit maps, but they'd be something different, and maybe they'd grow on us, and they both kind of did a little bit, I suppose. But I think I'm going to give the edge to Bullet Marsh because Bullet Marsh did grow on me more over time than Escalation did. Next, Fuel Depot. All right, this one is easily an A tier, for sure. They brought this one back in subsequent installments of Gears of War, and thank God they did. Clock Tower was another one. Thank God they did, because those are just solid maps. Both of these are really, really good. Fuel Depot, we have the Hammer of Dawn going on in this one, and Hammer of Dawn is a very peculiar weapon because it can easily break a map. But Fuel Depot, thankfully, has a nice interior space for everybody to hide from that shit. We're given sniper rifles for both teams on both sides in the back of these tractor trailers, which is a nice little touch. Both teams are given a hammer burst on each side, which is a less mentioned and noteworthy weapon, but a good alternative to the Lancer if you want to try something different. There's distinctive features about Fuel Depot that make it stand out. It's a good one. I like that they made it snowy for Gears of War 2. I think when it came back in, it was snowy here, right? Yeah, very good. I like that environmental change, but I better not rabbit trail off too much when talking about these maps and their implementation in other games. I just want to keep this within Gears of War 1. Okay? Next is Garden. Well, looks like B tier needs some friends. That's where we're going to put Garden. Not because B tier needs friends, but because Garden is so fitting for B tier. This is a fucking Hammer of Dawn hell. This has power weapons out the ass here, but it's still fun and it's still unique. It's a very curious one, isn't it? Like, remember when this came out in the multiplayer map pack? Garden was kind of like that stepchild. Bullet Marsh was just not a child at all. It was just like, you know, we don't like you. But Garden was the one where you're like, hey, you want to play Garden? And everyone's like, yes, I do. But what a motherfucker this map is, because it's 3/4 of this map is outdoors. No roof over your head, which means the Hammer of Dawn is coming down on you. And if you are hiding in the quarter of this map that is interior to get away from the motherfucking Hammer of Dawn, you might have flower gas showered upon your fucking head, get all in your lungs and kill you. Yeah, you can sabotage people by pushing a couple of buttons and gas them. Yeah, great. And then on top of that shit, there's a boom shot here. So, man, what the fuck? We got explosions, we got fire raining from the sky, we got gas raining from the ceiling. This map is just a fucking piece of shit, and I love it. The giant plants, you know, that's an interesting aesthetic to this level. I enjoy that that's there. This was a great place to be a bitch, and a congregational place for bitches, for sure. Did we have sniper rifles here? I can't remember off the top of my head. Did we? Let me look. Oh, wait, that's not it. I don't know. I can't even remember if sniper rifles were here. All I picture in my head right now is getting fucking blown up by boom shots and Hammer of Dawns. I love Garden. Gridlock. I think of Gridlock as the first map of Gears of War. And what's interesting about Gridlock is it's a partly cloudy, partly sunny day here. Look at the sky, it's blue. The sun is cracking out from behind the clouds. You don't see that too often in Gears of War's level environments. It's always either raining or the sky is smogged. But Gridlock, it's a beautiful sunny day, and you're battling it out on this street. This is a good place to see the architecture of the buildings in the Gears of War universe. A lot of the action would definitely be confined to certain places, only like 2 places really. So it's a bit lackluster in that department, but at the end of the day, I like the layout of this map enough. I like the environment that surrounds you. I like that it does feel like the first map of Gears of War. I like that it is a partly cloudy, partly sunny day and shows off the architecture of the world. Not bad at all. I'd say this is a very fair B tier. Whenever we would have our multiplayer nights, Gridlock is really not one of the ones we would play a whole lot. There is a large handful of other multiplayer maps we would pick over Gridlock. This one just sort of fell by the wayside. I can't in good conscience put Gridlock in C tier. I think it is better than that, but I am going to have it in B because while it is very recognizable and popular, these other maps that I love so much more are going to occupy higher tiers, way more over than Gridlock. Mansion. All right, do we have our first S tier? We do not quite have our first S tier, but it is another A. It's the middle of A. Mansion is a straight up good map. Right from the beginning, you know, the first thing that everyone says into their headset is if they're going inside or outside. Both areas feel just as large as each other. This is what I call a well-rounded map. I like that this is sort of a creepy Resident Evil looking mansion. I love that it's raining, that it's nighttime. I love the battle for the boom shot in this one. I love the battle for the sniper rifle in this one. I love that this has very good skirmishes between lancers and hammer bursts, good opportunities to ambush with chainsaws, good places to have shotgun battles. You have wide open spaces and tight corridors. Mansion, the only other thing I'm going to say about it is this is one that was probably the 3rd one we would pick in our rotation of multiplayer maps for the night. Definitely an A tier. Mausoleum. Well, Mausoleum to me feels as uninspired as Depot does in GoldenEye 64. I'd say this is one of the most least interesting environments. It all feels just too claustrophobic and lacking on features that stand out. However, I do enjoy the layout of this enough. I'd say this is definitely a mid-C tier for me. This is one I remember we played a lot. So if we played it as much as we did, then that means that it's higher up on a tier list because we wouldn't play it if we weren't having fun. It's a big battle for the fucking boom shot. But so much of what this was concentrated in one area. I can see people putting Mausoleum a lot lower on this list, but I can see other people that really have a thing for Mausoleum and would have it higher. But I would say what brings it down on this list is it's just lacking in its dynamics, and it's really lacking on its features and memorability. But I do know I played it a lot, and I enjoyed it to a certain degree. It would be in the rotation of multiplayer maps on any given night. It would just take a little while for us to get there, but it was in there, so I'd say this is just a fair standard C tier. It's about as middle of the list as this is going to get. Old Bones. Okay, guys. We don't have any S tiers yet, and we don't have any F tiers. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to think which one of these it's going to go in, because it is one or the other. If I were to put this in S tier, I would say down thumb this video and never watch anything else that I upload to this channel, because this is a stupid person you're listening to. While I am a pretty dumb person in a lot of areas of my life, I'm not so dumb that I'm going to put Old Bones in S tier. Old Bones is going in the old F tier, and it's an easy one to throw there at that. This was given to us by the fucking Discovery Channel for free in Map Pack 1. We were given Old Bones and we were given Raven Down. Old Bones sucks. I think me and my buddies, we played this piece of shit once, and we're like, yeah, that sucks. We're never playing that again. I think maybe like fucking several months later, I revisited this one, or we revisited this one to see if it had the same effect as Bullet Marsh or Escalation, where, you know, maybe it'll grow on us. It didn't. We played it again. We're like, yeah, that sucks. It was terrible. We're just like never doing that again. It's just a big fucking wide open space with very little features or identity that's memorable. There's a few like little hallways on the outer perimeter of the map, but not much is concentrated there. I don't remember. I shouldn't even really be speaking on this map because I played so little of it that I don't even remember it or know what I'm talking about. All I know is that if you try a map twice, or maybe I did it 3 times, and you felt that it sucked every time and you just never went back to it, it sure as hell wasn't in our rotation of any multiplayer night. It's crap. And I guess there's a reason this thing was free. Process, well, my brain is doing a little processing right now, thinking about where this goes on the tier list. I'd say this is akin to Fuel Depot, but it's a slightly less better version of Fuel Depot. I'm going to say Process is the top of B tier. It's knocking on the door to get into A, but nobody's home. That being said, I do like Process. I like its uniqueness. It's an emulsion plant. You know, it's very blue here. It's also very yellow with the emulsion. Yeah, a very strong color palette going on in Process. A lot of the space is wasted in Process because I feel like a third of the fucking map is like just the starting points. And you're just running at each other to meet in the middle. And that's where the potency of Process is, because you're given some good weapons in this one. There's a torque bow, there's a sniper rifle, there's a boom shot. Am I remembering all that right? All that's in there, correct? Grenades, you know, these are top tier weapons that make the game excellent. I feel like there's not too many good places to have shotgun battles here, but good opportunities to use the power weapons in Process. This one was definitely in the rotation. I'd say Process was the second best map that came out in Map Pack 2 when we got it in 2007. Okay, Raven Down. You know, this was one that we never played in our rotation, but I don't think I'm going to give it F tier because I know a lot of people have a fondness for Raven tier. What the fuck? What am I saying? For Raven Down. I don't know that as a fact. I just feel that a lot of people would have a fondness for Raven Down because it is very close quarters. There's not any other power weapons that exist on this map. I think it's just frag grenades and the weapons you start with, and that's it. I'm glad there's a map like that. There should be a map like that. If you just want to have a straight up shotgun Lancer battle with some grenades thrown in there, go to Raven Down. You know, everything's close quarters, so it'll be over with very quick. This is just not the kind of map I prefer in Gears of War. I'm going to give this one D- tier. It's just not a very good map to me. I'm sure it's not a very good map to a lot of you, because, you know, me and my buddies, nobody in our party ever wanted to fucking play here. And if someone even brought it up, it's like, hey, you want to go to Raven Down? You'd probably just be defriended. But I'm not going to take a defecation all over Raven Down like I would Old Bones. This was the other one that was released for free in Map Pack 1, along with Old Bones. So 2 crappy maps, but I don't hate Raven Down like I do Old Bones. Rooftops, I do hate Rooftops. I hate it a lot. This one is F tier for me. I don't know if that's a shocker for anybody. I don't know if there's a lot of you watching this video that is like, what did you just do? I don't like it here, guys. Both teams are given the Hammer of Dawn right from the get-go. 90% of this map is outside. It's claustrophobic. You're just going to get fucking blown up with a Hammer of Dawn within the first 30 seconds. There's a fucking torque bow in the center, but it's a lousy map to use it at. You're just going to fucking die trying to get it. You're going to die trying to do anything. It's just a fucking Hammer of Dawn spamming map. Don't like it. The only thing I remember about this map is it was a fucking, like, achievement unlock map. People would make lobbies where they'd meet up and they would just take turns headshotting each other with certain weapons in order to unlock achievements. I was one of those pieces of shit that did that for a little period of time. You know, it's not like I lay awake at night thinking about it, like, whoa, what kind of person was I? But that was a stupid thing to do. I just don't like this map at all. It can be right down here and fucked here with its buddy Old Bones. All right, guys, I know you've been waiting for it. You're like, when is this fucking piece of shit going to put something in S tier? Right now. Subway is S tier. This is the best map of Map Pack 2. With this Subway, nobody's eating fresh. It's a fucking brutal, gnashing shotgun battle for power weapons. I love where power weapons were strategically placed by the devs for this game. The boom shot being the centerpiece of the map, the sniper rifle that overlooks the platform area where the boom shot is, and then the torque bow that's put in the train car. There's just great places for cover. There's great places to ambush with chainsaws. I would chainsaw so many fucking people right behind that vending machine where the torque bow was. I mean, I got a lot of motherfuckers there. But, you know, a lot of people would be onto that, and they would just, like, make sure that they were far enough back so they could shotgun my stupid ass. Subway is fucking great, man. So good, so good, so good. So happy that this one came back in later Gears of War installments. It's just a top-tier level, man. Whenever we're doing our multiplayer night, Subway was usually the first or second map that we played in our rotation. Tyro Station. This one, to me, I'm going to give it the top of C tier. It's beating on the door to get into B. Somebody is home, and they're thinking about getting up and opening the door. This is one I have a special fondness and appreciation for. I love the uniqueness that the train just fucking careens right through the middle of the map. It just, in such fast succession from one train to the next, like, isn't that a little dangerous to do? But, you know, I guess we're in the middle of a fucking war, so there's probably a lot of trains running around. This was a torque bow exchange, man. You have the two platforms on opposite side of the tracks and people just trying to land torque shots on each other. And then, you know, people would get overzealous and they'd be like, I'm going for it. They'd equip the shotgun, they go to run across the tracks to just start fucking gnashing away at the other team. And they'd probably get a torque bow in their leg as they were running across the track or hit by the train. I love that there's a flanking aspect to this level at the bottom level, so you'd often get skirmishes happening in the lower part of this map, which is really good stuff. So why is it in C tier? It's not one that we really went to a lot, but anytime we wanted to change it up and do some place we didn't play very often, I was always happy to go to Tyro Station more than any of the other levels below it. It was kind of like someone would mention it, like Tyro Station, and I'd be like, yeah, Yeah, let's do Tyro fucking Station, dog. And last, but certainly not least, it's the opposite of least. War Machine is at the top of this list. This is S+ tier, no question about it. This was the first map we always played on multiplayer night. The first, every time. Usually every single time. We would send each other the message WM82, which meant War Machine, 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds. That was just the thing that we did. We would send it to each other with our flip phones and text messages, WM82. While it doesn't have the most eye candy environment, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. This layout is perfect. It's simplistic, but it's perfect. The power weapons are perfect. They're placed in the perfect places. The power struggle in War Machine is perfect. This is as well-rounded as it gets, in my opinion. I love it that the Trika's up there too, and people would almost forget that it's even up there a lot of the time. You'd be so preoccupied with having a power struggle on the first level of the map, and then you'd get yourself blown apart by a Trika. We have a boom shot battle happening here, a torque bow battle happening here. We have the vending machine that chainsawers would hide on both sides of to try to get each other, but would fail 9 times out of 10. The Trika, the sandbags, the columns, the slight elevation changes. It's the perfect size. It's like medium plus, and it's just right for this. War Machine, without question, is the top of S tier, and it's my favorite map in Gears of War 1, and maybe my favorite multiplayer map in Gears of War as a whole. Okay, and before we close it out, my mind slightly changed on just a few things over the course of editing this video that I'm going to change before uploading. I'm going to give Gridlock an eviction notice and downgrade that into C tier. And I'm upgrading Tyro Station into B tier. Now, I feel like the majority would have just left that alone just now, but this just comes down to a personal preference thing. I know I played Tyro Station a hell of a lot more than I did Gridlock. To me, it's just a level that I enjoy going to more, and I know I definitely played this level more. And for the exact same reason, I'm giving a slight upgrade to Mausoleum, which downgrades Canals a slot, and that's because I played Mausoleum more than I did Canals. That spells it out right there for me. I mean, a person plays a level more than another level because they like that level more than the other level. So that criteria is perfectly fitting and reason to shuffle these maps around just a wee little bit like I am right now. I was happy to make this tier list today on these multiplayer maps because I think my most fondest memories came from Gears of War 1. It's just the most time was put in, and it's the memories I cherish the most. I'm going to give a shout out to a few of my old buddies here. I think I'm going to send them this video. Ban Industries, I Am Abaddon, I Am Chuvok, Superfly86, Box of Ice, Box of Nice, Box of Rice, The Alethian, Patrick, however the fuck you say that, Kyle, Patrick, it's your middle name, I don't fucking know how to say it. Don't worry, no one's going to know how to spell that, and they're not going to find you. Bo is behind you, our good friend Jason Endicott. He was an aspiring actor trying to make it in Hollywood, and sadly he died just a few years after we would all meet up online together. I miss that guy a lot. We played all these maps together a lot. Really good guy, really good actor. So fuck, I'll dedicate this video to him. So everybody out there watching this video, I hope you found enjoyment in this and had a nice little stroll down memory lane with me. I certainly enjoyed putting this video together. I actually thought I was really going to struggle with making this, like I wasn't going to know what to fucking say, but dude, all of it came right back to me. Gears of War, it is special to me similarly to how the Nintendo 64 is special to me. I played the N64 when I was a kid, like a fucking child. That was my childhood, but my punk-ass teenager days were occupied by games like Gears of War. So different chapter, different generation, but just as potent in its entertainment and its lasting memory. Alright everybody, so I appreciate you watching very much. If you made it to the end and you're hearing me still talking, thank you so much for being here and for listening. And wherever you are, whatever time it is, I hope you're having a wonderful day or night.